Yo, what's going on, man? Today is December the 30th, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. I'm live on Twitter. I'm also live on YouTube as well. Do me a favor, as I always ask, and hit the like button for me if you can. We got a lot of games to talk about today, but first and foremost, I always want to do a quick recap of the plays that I ended up playing yesterday. Officially, I know I talked about on the show only like in one play. Well, I liked a lot of plays, but the only thing I went official with was the Cavs plus the 5. They didn't cover. They started the game really hot, and then you see the Bucks. Shout out to the Bucks, man. They go on the road and win all of those games except for the one on Christmas Day against the New York Knicks. So that was a loser. I also ended up getting there with the Magic and the Knicks to go over 225 and a half, and you see the Knicks come out and have a 15-point second quarter. Absolutely abysmal. That killed the over in that spot, but it should have been a pretty easy cash. But that's how it is when you bet on. That's how it is when I bet on the Knicks. I never can get the Knicks right. If I pick them to score, they don't. If I pick them not to score, they score. The cover, they don't. So that was a loser. Those were the two losers. I did end up getting there with the Raptors. Wanted to stay away from the spread yesterday because I said that the Raptors could get smoked. They did get smoked early. But then they did fight back. So we took their team total over 108.5, over 109.5, and both of those were winners, no matter what number you got yesterday. Just a bad spot for Boston, of course, coming off the overtime game against Detroit. And then the other play that I had was Philly. I talked about liking Philly. Man, that game was crazy for anybody who watched it all the way down to the wire. Philly just couldn't get a stop late. Houston also couldn't get a stop late without Jabari Smith Jr. being in there. And, without Dylan Brooks as well. So game flew over the total. Of course, we got Philly on the second leg of a back-to-back, but that was a winner. So super frustrating to keep going, 1-1 or 2-2, but we're kind of, keeping our head above water, especially in, some crazy times in the NBA, it seems, as of late, especially with a lot of the, injury report stuff going on. So 2-2 day yesterday, looking to, of course, cash some tickets today as well. So like I said, hit the like button for me if you can. Shout out to everybody who's already in the comment section. Let's see. David says, happy Saturday, brother. He says, I have a Stars Will Be Stars parlay to close out the year. Braun, Ant-Man, Halliburton, and Brunson, everyone to get 30 on the 30th. At least at last check, $10 to 1,000 on FanDuel. Okay. What's up, S-Dot? He said, what's good? What's going on, What's up, David? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. He said, Happy New Year to the community. What's up, Matthew, Young Harlow? A lot of the guys in here, man. Let's see. David says Maxey is the sixth leg. Sorry for the spam in the comments. Steph and he likes Steph, Braun, and Maxey, Halliburton, and Brunson to all score 30 today. We'll have to go through that, David. I'm gonna have to put a star on this, and we'll come back to that. I like that. I like that. Esther also says he likes that as well. Let's see. Damian says Heat -4.5 versus Utah. Hit the like button. What's good, Chris? What up, Dwight? Locked in Sports says he went 2-1 yesterday. Not liking much on today's card except for one game. We'll get to all of the games in a second. Frank says I've been smacking live bets. 3-pointers at halftime for the last 2 weeks. 1K last night. Crazy odds. Yeah, I'm glad you've been cashing, Frank. What's up, Tariq? Socks and Sneaks. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate you for being here. Same to Scotty as well. He says shout out to my guy Scoot Henderson again, cashing his points prop again last night. What's up, Akbar? Hobby Noble says won the Philly money line. Shout out to Maxey, who I can't get a prop correct on at all. Yeah, Maxey went crazy last night, man. But they needed it. They definitely needed it. All right, so here we go. Let's jump into the games for today. Not here to talk too much. First game up, we got Heat and Jazz. Now, we know that the first thing that comes to my mind, you see the Jazz as a home dog, typically a spot you want to stay off. The Jazz have been absolutely good in this spot. We still don't know specifically who's going to play in this game, although we should get injury news here soon. It looks like what I got in my notes is Josh Richardson is questionable. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is also questionable with an illness. I just want to check real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything as far as injury report for this game. But these are the latest injury implications. So Quentin Grimes downgraded to questionable. Malachi Flynn to be traded to the Knicks in the OG Anunoby deal. Seth Curry now listed as questionable. They're gonna need him. Precious Achiuwa to be added to that Knicks deal. They're gonna be so. I didn't even see this. They're gonna be. That's a lot, man. They missing a lot. Okay. All right. So we still don't got updated news for this game. So this is what I tell you guys. Josh Richardson listed as questionable. Jaime Jaquez Jr. also listed as questionable. Jimmy Butler listed as questionable in this game. Kyle Lowry listed as questionable. And then Caleb Martin also listed as doubtful. So this line actually opened in favor of. Let me just get to the line real quick. The line actually opened in favor of Miami in this game. They were already favorites. They were 1.5 point favorites. But the line moving stronger in that direction, that tells me that the Miami Heat probably these guys are that I'm talking about are probably going to play. That's what I'm seeing. Also, the total went up from 226.5 all the way up to 230.5 at some books as well. We know that the Jazz haven't had a fully healthy roster in quite some time, but they're starting to get healthy, like super healthy. You don't necessarily want to fade the Jazz at home. So for Miami, they are 19-12 on the season, and they're a much better road team than they are a home team. 10-6 against the spread on the road. One of the best road teams. 7-3 in their last 10. They've been covering spreads as well. This is the second game of a 5-game road trip. They play in LA against the Clippers on Monday. Then they got a game against the Lakers as well as they kind of continue their road trip. For the Jazz, this team is not good. 13-19, but they are 8-5 at home. This is where they turn up. They're 10-3 against the spread at home and 7-3 in their last 10 as well. So you got two really hot teams, ATS teams, playing against each other in this spot. Here's the reason why I kind of lean towards the Heat, because the Jazz, this is going to be their first game back home after a 5-game road trip. They just came off their road trip where they lost the last one against the Pelicans 2 nights ago, and they don't play again until New Year's Day. They actually host Dallas in this spot. So I do think that the like spread wise, the number is a little conflicting for me. Because I always talk about the Jazz, like really turning up in this spot. But I will say this, I think it's a Miami spot. And I like Miami early in this game a little bit more than I do for the full game, because we know Miami's really, really good in the first quarter, in the first half. And I'll tell you this as well. I always talk about teams not, losing their superpowers and not being able to play well in Utah. The Miami Heat actually are a really good team, like that plays good in Utah. Utah, for some reason, doesn't bother Miami. They've won 5 games. They've won the last 5 games between the two, and they've won. And they've been one of the few teams that actually play well in Utah. They beat Utah twice the last 2 times they actually went to Utah and covered both of the numbers. So I actually lean Miami early in this game, first quarter and first half, because Utah should be coming out in that flat spot. We got to remember, when you go on these 5-game road trips and then you come back home, first quarter, first half is typically the flattest spot. And for Utah, they're coming off a loss, so maybe they'll be a little motivated. But this is the same spot that Boston was in the other day. Boston went out west, won all of those games except the one to Golden State. Come back home after beating the Lakers on Christmas Day. Come back home and find themselves down by 20 points to the Detroit Pistons. So I do feel like this is the same spot for the Jazz, especially with Miami. Miami's really, really good in the first quarter and the first half. So number-wise, Miami's the second best first quarter ATS team on the road. They're 12-4 against the spread, behind only the Knicks, who are 14-4-1. And then first half, same thing. Miami's actually the second best road team in the first half as well. They're 11-3-2 against the spread, behind only Boston in the first half. So first quarter, first half for the Miami Heat, I think is the right play in this spot, especially because it should be a flat spot for the Utah Jazz. So that's the way that would be my top look in this game. Miami Heat can struggle with giving up leads. Honestly, I don't really think it matters who plays for the Heat, who doesn't play for the Heat, because Spoelstra going to have all these guys ready. We see what happened in that Golden State game the other day. Everybody jumps on the Golden State Warriors. The Knicks' first game on the road, in non-conference play, and they absolutely come out there and smoke Golden State pretty much for the whole entire game. So I do like Miami first quarter, first half here. Let's go to the comments real quick and see what you guys are talking about in this one, and then we'll keep it going. Let's see. Great content, young fella. Best wishes for success. Appreciate that, Greg. I don't know. I don't feel young anymore, but thanks, man. John says a lot of love on the Heat, like the Jazz at the crib. Full game, I think the Jazz could get it done. They do have Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Walker Kessler, but the Heat they're juggernauts. The Heat also have the best defense on the road too. Just for people who don't know, the Heat are giving up, I want to say 109 points, 106 points per game on the road. They're 9-7 to the under on the road this season. And in non-conference games, they're actually 3-1 to the under. Those games are only averaging about 213 points. The Heat are also they lead the league in, like I said, in points allowed per game. So this to me does feel like an under spot. I know that the total's going up. The Jazz typically score a lot of points at home and they go over, but I think this could be an under spot, especially with the total already getting up to 230. And then player prop wise, if I was going to play anything, it's super square, but it'd be Lauri Markkanen in the spot. His points prop this morning was 23.5 on most books. I mean, he balls against Miami. 38 points, 29 points in his two most recent matchups against Miami. He also has he scored at least 24 points in 4 straight games, and he's shooting a ton of threes. I'm talking about like double-digit threes. So I do think it's a nice spot for Lauri Markkanen in this game, but I also lean towards the under. And if I was playing it, like I said, it'd be Miami first quarter, first half. Let's see. Best by Tachi says, "What's up, brother? Let's get this bread." Absolutely. NLMB says, "Kings had me sweating." I told you I was a King spot last night. I didn't bet the Kings. Told you I was a King spot. I didn't bet the Clippers. I told you I was a Clipper spot last night too. I just didn't get to the window with either one of those. How you feel about the trade, Chris? Yeah, so we'll talk about the trade in a second. Smooth. When we actually get to that game, I was going to kind of say that. PDPD says Bogdanovich, he likes over 26.5. We'll get to that game. Coop says Lena Hero props depending on the injury report. I want to say last year, Coop, Hero hit a game winner in Utah. I really think Tyler Hero hit a game winner in Utah last year. He went crazy last year in Utah. I'm not sure what it is about Utah, but I know he got up for that game. Estai says same players the last 3 games aside from Hawkes. What's up, Boss Hug? He says, let's get some cash today, bro. He says he's got 1 NFL play so far. He's on the Patriots plus 14 for a unit and may get there with the Wolves in the first half. What's up, my guy Munov? Let's see. Estai says Jimmy is probably going to play today. I think Jimmy's going to play today too. Jabari says, I want to take the Heat first half, but as the Utah Jazz at home, it scares him. Yeah, I would agree, but I still like the Heat early. I'm probably going to end up placing that bet. I haven't placed it yet. Estai says he's playing the Heat first half and full game minus 1.5. Money line and the over on Hero points and Jaime Jaquez Jr. over his points as well. Shout out. I just kind of talked about marketing points. I would be taking the marketing, even though I think this game goes under. I would be taking marketing on his points as well. Let's see. You sure you want to bet against the Jazz at home? Not for the full game, shout out. Not for the full game. I do not, but I do like the first half. Let's see. We'll get to the rest of those games. Estai says exactly. Now you're seeing what I've been saying. Now if the Heat are favored by 7 or more, then you don't see me saying Heat all day. Yeah, I can get down with that, Estai. I had to do some deep diving for that, but I do like the Heat. Like I said, I gave you guys the numbers already for Heat first quarter, first half. Especially with this being a flat spot for the Jazz returning back home after the 5-game road trip. All right, cool. Let's get into the next game. So next game, we have Raptors and we got Pistons. This line is actually down to 3 now. It opened at 5. Well, I saw it last night at 4.5. Went up to 5, touched 5.5 as well. That being the Raptors laying points on the road in this spot. The total opened at 231.5, and you see it come down, which I actually agree with the movement coming down even before the trade. Now, for people who don't know, maybe you've been living underneath the rock for the last 2 hours, but there was a big trade that happened between these two teams that sent OG Anunoby, and who else did I say? OG Anunoby. There was some other guys too. At first, I thought it was just OG Anunoby. I don't think I realized that it was all the rest of those guys as well. But it was OG Anunoby. Real quick, let me just find it because I want to be precise to let you guys know who they're going to have and who they don't. Let's see. So OG Anunoby got traded for sure. Malachi Flynn was also a part of that deal. He hasn't really been a part of the rotation. And then Precious Achiuwa also got added to that trade as well. So the Raptors are going to get RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly and draft compensation, from this trade, but they're going to be shorthanded in this spot. And I do think, call me crazy, man. I think if you like the Pistons in this spot, I'm right there with you. I think it's a Piston spot. The spread is getting lower. I wouldn't necessarily play Detroit early. I wouldn't play them late. I would play them early. I know that, theoretically, the Raptors are the team that's coming off the second leg of the back-to-back. They fought hard last night against the Celtics and, almost came back from down 15, 16 points at halftime. Now you get them on the second leg of a back-to-back. And I went in and did some digging And all of the numbers to me kind of say, and it's hard to take Detroit, but I think if you want Detroit, you want to take them early. Detroit was a plus 2.5 in the first half before I started the show. With the number coming down, that might be plus 2, might be plus 1.5. Detroit is a much better team in the first quarter and in the first half than they are full game. Even when they had a 20-point lead against Boston the other day, you just cannot trust them to actually come out and play basketball for consistent enough throughout the entirety of a basketball game without them turning the ball over, not being able to make shots, going on some kind of big drought. So I do like Toronto. I do like Detroit early in this spot, probably first half. The back-to-back for Toronto. This team's also just 4-10 on the road, straight up 7-7 against the spread. Also looked at Toronto playing on no days rest. They're 2-3 straight up and against the spread in that spot. As a favorite with no rest, they're 0-1 straight up and against the spread. They lost to the Jazz in this spot just a couple games ago. This was like last week. Third straight road game as well before they go back home. Looking at Detroit, they have not been good. We know that. 1-14 at home, 5-10 against the spread. They're off the overtime game to Boston. This is a standalone home game for them before they start to go out west. They're actually going down south first. They play Houston on New Year's Day. And while they've been bad, they have covered the last 2 games. So I talked about being on them. I didn't play it, but I talked about liking them plus the 6.5. They lost that game by 6 earlier this week to Brooklyn. Then I talked about I wasn't on them. I didn't play that game at all, but I talked about the over, and we ended up getting there with overtime the other day with Detroit and Boston going over, and they covered that game as well. Of course, they covered that game. So head-to-head, Toronto has won straight, and they won 5 straight and covered the only spread that they had this season. They won 142-113 in Toronto earlier this season, but I think this is a Detroit early type game. I'd also be looking at Jalen Duren, probably playing his rebounds ladder. Without Precious Achiuwa, being in there, you only got Jakob Poeltl. They don't have a lot of bigs that's going to be able to out-rebound somebody like Jalen Duren. So his rebounds earlier was 11.5 at minus 113. But now, when you think about not having OG Anunoby out there, your defense is going to get worse. So that should make it a little bit easier for Detroit to be able to score in this game. You just lost a lot of defense. You lost a lot of defense in my estimation. You get back some offense, and that's what Toronto really needs. So kind of breaking the trade down, I'm pretty sure those guys are not going to necessarily be happy to go to Toronto. Maybe RJ Barrett is because he's Canadian, but Emmanuel Quickly about to be out anyway. That's how I kind of see it. In my estimation, the Knicks traded Quickly because they knew he was going to walk, and they wasn't going to have enough money to pay him at the end of the year anyway. That's just my thought process. Quickly about to get a real big bag at the end of the season. His rookie contract actually expires. So yeah, that was my thought process about why they made the trade. So your offense gets better, your defense is going to take a big hit in my estimation, just because Quickly he couldn't guard anybody then. He's not going to be able to guard anybody now. And you're losing OG Anunoby, one of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA. So it's going to help the Knicks out a lot. It'll help the Knicks out defensively a lot, and they've really struggled to stop anybody. Last night they couldn't even stop Orlando, and Orlando's not even a good offensive team. They're a better defensive team. So I do think it'll help them a lot. And I like the trade. I like the trade for both teams, honestly. So that's just kind of going through the trade and going through this game. I didn't play any player props, but like I said, I'd be looking at Duren to go over his rebounds. And I don't know what I would play if I was looking at Toronto side. Probably be looking at assists for Dennis Schroeder again. I feel like he's been the guy that's been kind of dishing the ball for them. Let me see what y'all looking at. Cade numbers are going to be super inflated just because he's been hooping. He's really been hooping. Let's see. Yeah, I'm the Cavs 6 for 42 from the 3-point line. It was terrible, Kevin. I was watching it last night. Like, you got to be kidding me. They definitely should have covered. Donovan Mitchell threw one pass, with a couple seconds. I think it might have been like 15 seconds left to Max Strus wide open for 3. And this was going to be the cover that we needed. Of course, it clanks off the rim. So, yeah, it was super bad luck there. Let's see. What else y'all got? Coop says he took the Pistons +5 and the money line earlier. He says, I'll be on the island on this one, but peak desperation spot for the Pistons. This is one loss. There is one loss away from, I think he means they are one loss away from being worse than the trust the process 76ers. Pray for me. Yeah, I'm with you, Coop. I still like it though. I think it's Pistons. I think it's Pistons today. I don't get on here and say take the Pistons, but I do think it's a Pistons type spot today. And for people who don't know, So what Detroit did was they broke the longest streak of consecutive losses during one season. The Trust the Process 76ers from about 5-6 years ago was the team that had the longest consecutive streak. So that went from one season to the next season was how long their losing streak was. So I'm glad just to add some clarification of what Coop was talking about. Let's see. Hobby Noble says he likes he was right there with Coop plus 170 on the money line. Locked and Loaded says one and only NBA play today, Pistons money line plus 136. Not much talking about this game. Just lay it and close your eyes. Hobby Noble says Pistons been crushing their first quarter, first half, coming out quick. I think that's the best, to be honest. I'm gonna get there as well. Raptors fan says bittersweet day as a Raptors fan today, man. Gonna miss OG since he was a big piece of our defense. With that being said, give me Detroit on the money line today. He's fading his own Raptors today. Coop also says K stocks over 1.5 at plus 110 is a sneaky look. Besides his points and assists, last 5 he's averaged 2.8, and he's going to put the team on his back by any means. I would agree with that as well. PD says, Chris, I think the books are trying to bait people into the Pistons money line. Raptors trade talk going to make everybody push the button just to lose. Watch. We'll see how it goes, PD. We'll see how it goes. I don't like outside of this. I was already going to be on the plus 5.5 anyway. But I, just kind of thinking a little bit more into it, that I've watched the Pistons become be close in games and then just lay it. Like if you go through and look at all of their offensive and defensive metrics, their fourth quarter is by far one of the worst. As we get breaking news, Caleb Martin is ruled out. Josh Richardson is also ruled out for the Heat game. Kyle Lowry is also ruled out. So you're going to get a much better line because this line should come down from the 2.5. Of course, we still don't have the Jimmy Butler news. But as this news starts to break with Miami ruling these players out, you're going to get a much better line if you want to take the Heat in the first half. And that's what I'm looking for. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is available to play as we get more breaking news. So we're just waiting on Jimmy Butler, I want to say. Hobby Noble says he took Duren double-double last minus 110 thanks to Dream. Think he's in a good spot? Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not sure what the double-double is now, but that's a really good spot for Jalen Duren in this spot. If you can get good odds for Jalen Duren double-double, I think it's absolutely worth playing this spot. I want to say when I looked at it this morning, the odds were pretty bad. I think it was down to minus 160. So shout out to Dream for getting on that early. He should be in a really good spot to get a double-double. He's coming off a 14-point rebound game, and I talked about leaning towards his boys the other day. Jalen Duren double-double. You actually can get it on bet ESPN bet minus 130. I think it's absolutely in play today. Minus 130, minus 135 on DraftKings. I might get there with Jalen Duren double-double as well. Let's see. Raptors fan says also love Jalen Duren in this spot. Rebounds at 11.5. His points plus rebounds 23.5. I said the same thing. Jimmy Butler remains questionable. That means he might play. Who knows with Eric Spoelstra and what they got going on in Miami, man. No telling who's going to play. All right, cool. What else we got? What up, Markel? He says he's targeting Clay today. We'll get there on that one. All right, so let's get back into the games. We got a couple more to get to before I get up out of here. So we got Knicks and Pacers. So this is the other part of the trade, right? So looking at this Knicks rotation for today, tweet actually just came out from Underdog, and it says that it didn't come from Underdog. Knicks new rotation, presumably Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo. Well, never mind. This is going forward. So today it looks like Jalen Brunson will be starting, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart will play the 3, and then Julius Randle and Isaiah Hartenstein. So this to me feels like a defensive lineup, and you see the total in this game. It opened with the Knicks laying 3.5, and the total was 247.5. Now you see the total come down, which I think makes a little bit of sense, to 247.5 out there as well. Not the greatest spot for the Knicks. They do have Bruce Brown listed as out, so it seems like all the good defensive players are actually going to be missing in this game. Looking at the Knicks, 9-10 on the road, straight up, 9-1-1 against the spread. This is the third and final game of a 3-game road trip. They're off the back-to-back losses. They got smoked last night. Well, I wouldn't say got smoked, but they lost their game to Orlando last night, and they got smoked against OKC. Well, I wouldn't say they got smoked, but they lost that game to OKC as well the other day. Looking at the Pacers, this team is actually starting to trend in the right direction again. 8-7 at home, 8-7 against the spread at home. They're 4-1 to the under which is crazy. I'll say that again. 4-1 to the under are the Indiana Pacers in their last 5 games, and they've actually held their team total, held their opponent under their team total in 5 straight games. The Pacers have actually been playing defense, holding their opponent to 5 straight unders on their team total. This is the first game back home from them after a short 2-game road trip in which they did win both. We know that they just beat Chicago the other day, and then they also beat Atlanta, I want to say, before that. So a couple different ways I think you can kind of play this one. Of course, the spread's going to move without them having, the offense that they had. It opened at 3.5. It went up to 5. Now you see it actually coming back down to 4.5. I think, of course, it's going to be, big game from Julius Randle. I know he had a big game yesterday, but he should have another big game here today. Indiana gives up a lot of points in the paint. Julius Randle is extremely aggressive. Not the greatest spot for the Knicks just because it is the second leg of a back-to-back. And it's a third game in 4 nights, I want to say, for them as well. So I actually lean towards the over in this spot. Even with the, those guys being out, no way I could actually get there. The Knicks cost me money yesterday because they couldn't score against the Magic, of course. But, I was just kind of looking at some trends. So this season, rested home favorites, which the Pacers are, playing in conference games, hosting an unrested conference opponent. They're 6-3 straight up, and they're 7-2. 6-3 straight up and against the spread, 7-2 to the over when the spread says that the game is supposed to be within 4 points. So I do like the over in this spot. Like I said, unrested opponents, typically defense get a little bit worse. We've talked about the Knicks, defense it's been pretty bad without Mitchell Robinson. I want to say those games are averaging about 242 points per game. This one, of course, is up to 247. So I think I wanted to get there with the over, but the trade, of course, doesn't help at all because you lose quickly. Who knows, what you're going to get from a guy like Dante DiVincenzo. I liked him yesterday in the spot he was in. He absolutely came out flat, looked flat as a pancake. I think he shot 0 for 5 from the field, and now you got less options. So to me, Josh Hart isn't an offensive guy. He's more of a defensive guy. Isaiah Hartenstein is more of a defensive guy. I guess you could say Hartenstein is a little bit of both, but I think the Knicks they're going to keep the game close. I think they're going to have to lean on it with their defense. I don't know if they have enough scoring in this spot specifically to be able to keep up with this high-flying Pacers offense. So I guess, with all that said, I don't really have a strong side at all. I will say this, for people who was watching the game, Thibodeau was complaining to the refs last night that Jalen Brunson was getting hacked, and they didn't call any fouls for Jalen Brunson. So it really wouldn't surprise me if Jalen Brunson went over his points prop today. He should be able to get to the line and go over his points prop is how I kind of look at this game. And that's probably would be my top look, would be Jalen Brunson to be able to score in this spot, in a bounce back spot offensively for Jalen Brunson. Let me see what y'all are saying here. Jabari says that Holly I'm not sure what that means, right? Did Holly over 37.5? I don't know if you meant you took him. Let's see. Daniel says, what's up, Chris? I'm liking Miami team total over and Hero 30 points plus assists. Pacers are giving away rebounds. So I'm talking about Randle and Hartenstein ladder. I'm taking both Randle and Hartenstein ladder. Randle last 3 versus the Pacers has 16, 14, and 16 rebounds. I like that a lot. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Young Harlow says we changed our lineup. That's what the unders hitting. Play a little bit more defense. I agree as a Pacers fan. Yeah. Hobby says Pacers with defense is a scary sight. I still remember that Boston game. Straight up clamps. Yeah, that's a fact. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep it going. Bond says he likes Miles Turner in this spot over 17.5 points and Brunson over 6.5 assists. Raptors fan says, Chris, how do you feel about the first quarter spread at -1.5 for the Pacers? I think if the Knicks have anything left in the tank, it's going to be early in this game, Raptors fan. So I wouldn't necessarily – I think you play on the Pacers full game. Pacers have been a really good third quarter team. I think you play on the Pacers full game. Knicks should be able to keep it close early. And I gave you guys a number. The Knicks on the road earlier, I said that the Knicks on the road were, let's see. The Knicks are the best first quarter road team in the NBA. They are 14-4-1. They have the most first quarter wins on the road in the NBA. So take that for what it's worth. I wouldn't play on the Pacers early. I think I would kind of lay off And can't forget this. Coop just mentioned it. I thought about it earlier. Obi Toppin revenge game. He says similar to Fred VanVleet last night, Obi is probably going to want to show out versus old team and coach. And I would agree. I'm not Obi numbers has been dropping, and I think it's because he don't play defense. And I think Rick Carlisle trying to get a more defensive, minded lineup in there. So I can see Obi Toppin having a big game here. But I haven't even looked at his numbers. Buffalo says he likes Buddy Hield for threes today, high total, and he's been shooting the three well these past few games. I got it at plus 140 odds. I could not talk you off that at all. Knicks, should have tired legs in this spot. Could lead to a lot of wide open threes. We know that the Knicks don't do the greatest job of defending the three-point line anyway. Locked and Loaded podcast says, I think they dropped the game. Somebody just lost their friend in their locker room, buried and quickly. I'm not sure if the Knicks will be focused today, and the Pacers have been trending up. He leans Pacers. I lean Pacers as well. I do think they should be able to get the job done today, especially with the Knicks, losing as much as they lost in the trade. The Pacers are the more rested home favorite in this spot, and they have an offense that's, absolutely crazy, playing a little bit better defense. Like I said, hell, their last 5 opponents under their team total. It should be a Pacers spot today for sure. Salami says over Pacers team total. He likes that. Go Young DJ says Brunson has a lot of shooting slumps. Randall is way more consistent. Crazy to think, but you're right. Go Young DJ. Crazy to think that Randall is more consistent than anybody. Let's see. Hardenstein rebounds for Zachariah could be a look. Turner doesn't care about boards. That's a fact. Munaf says Brunson going for 50 because he didn't get a chance because he don't have a chance tonight. That is a fact too. I can see Brunson having a really, really big game last night. He was asked about the game in the post game interview in the locker room last night, and when they kept asking him about fouls, he just kept saying, "No comment. Next question. Next question." So yeah, Brunson is a bit fed up. I will tell you guys that. Munaf goes on to say if the Pacers are smart, they run tonight, and the Knicks are playing third game in 4 nights, all on the road. I believe. Yeah, that's a fact. It is all on the road. The OKC game. Then you get 1 day off, and then, of course, you played Orlando last night, and then you got to travel to Indiana. It should be a Pacers spot for this reason, I would agree there. Jimmy says the same thing. He says bad spot for the Knicks, and they struggle on the road. Pace up and down. Give me the full game spread. Let's cash today, Chris. I might get there with the Pacers too. I might get there, especially with the number coming back down. I don't necessarily agree with it. Sam says, so what is the phenomenon called that describes momentum lost through a series scheduled and played, despite being able to properly assess and weigh the many different options to sports wager? I'm not sure what you mean there. He says, all in all, I tune in for the most part regularly. I should have to have the urge to call and discuss a few ideas I have floating in my head to brainstorm building my bankroll, Mr. Chris. I have no idea what you're talking about, Sam. Shoot me a DM on Twitter, though. I'll try to answer and help as much as I can. Jimmy says less depth tonight also means they got to rely more on Randall and Brunson props. I would agree there. I think it's a big Brunson game, and I like the Pacers. Brunson and the Pacers. Estai says Pacers smash game. David says let's get spicy. Detroit first half money line and first quarter to tie in the Knicks in the Pacers game, plus 3,400. I don't know if you're going to get that tie, but best of luck, David. I hope you cash it, my brother. Let's get back into the games. A couple more to get through. So 76ers and Bulls is up next. This is another interesting game, man. So looking at this 76ers team, they have been really been struggling without Embiid. Now it seems like they kind of hit their groove. Of course, Embiid, is out for this game. Nicholas Batum is also out for Chicago. They'll still be without Vucevic. He's going to miss this game as well. So Philly, fourth game of a 4-game road trip. This is the first game of a mini back-to-back series. They actually play Chicago again. That game will be played in Philly, but that won't be until Tuesday. So second leg of a back-to-back and the third game in 4 nights for the Philadelphia 76ers here. Chicago, 6th straight home game, and they're off the loss to the Pacers. Not a spot you necessarily want to face Chicago in, but and I really wanted to get there with Philly again. I do think that Philly has they have enough, in my estimation, to be able to win this game. I just worry that the 76ers could run out of gas in this spot. That's why I don't take them in this spot, especially with Philly. Philly really wanted that win last night. You could tell, and they got it, but it wasn't because of offense. It wasn't because of defense. It was because of their offense. They were playing Markieff Morris at the center position against Sengun, and Sengun was killing him. In the at the end of the game, I don't know if they have enough to get it done here again. I know that the team is like a mix of like veteran players, and then they got a nice cast of young players as well. They could just keep it rolling here. It is a revenge game. I talked about this yesterday. They got smoked last game. They were 10-point home favorites in a game with Embiid, and now you see them as 2.5-point dogs on the road in this spot. And like I said, not the greatest spot. Second leg of the back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. Typically, you're pretty satisfied with the win on the first leg of a back-to-back, and then you can say that the second one is a scheduled loss. So that says Bulls in this spot. Of course, you don't necessarily want to fade the team that's been playing at home, for 5 straight games. That also says Bulls. But I like the revenge spot for the 76ers, and I do think that they could potentially kind of keep it going here. I didn't play the game. It's a really, really tough game for me. The line is coming down, though. It is coming down to 1. I really want to get there with Philly again. I think that Philly can win this game, especially with no Vucevic, man. I just think that Philly can still win the game. No Vucevic, no Embiid. You still got Maxey out there. I think that they should be able. I think they can win this game, man. I just don't like how much energy they had to exert in Philly in Houston last night. Let's see what y'all seeing on this game. Kobe White and Tyrese Maxey. Kobe White points and Tyrese Maxey assists is a play tonight. What's up, Tasha? Appreciate you for being here. She says she's listening while she's at work. I appreciate that, Tasha. Remind everybody to hit the like button for me, Tasha. I appreciate that as well. Let's see. Hobby Noble says Drummond might demolish Reed tonight. Sengun went off. I would agree with that. Do we have props for Drummond on his points or his rebounds tonight? Let's see. This was something that I meant to look into. I actually forgot to earlier. Drummond rebounds are, let's see, 14.5 in this spot tonight. I like that number for Drummond. I think Drummond could get 15 rebounds tonight against this smaller version of this team. I would like Drummond tonight in this spot. I know 14.5 rebounds is a lot, but what did he have in the last game? 16, 25 in the game before that. He only played 21 minutes. I might have to get there with Drummond laddering his rebounds, potentially to 20 in this spot as well. The Bulls going to keep the game close. It's going to be because of their defense, not because of their offense. They're 2-0 to the under without Vucevic in those last 2 games. So, Bet on JC says he likes the under in this spot, under 224. Let's see. Locked and Loaded Sportscast says, very interesting game. I'm going to go Philly in this one. On this one, not investing in it, though, because it's not a good spot for them. Bulls getting back on that BS, though. Been playing bad lately. I agree. They just kind of missing Vucevic, I think is big. He does a lot for that team. Markel says, would you say first half Philly then? Yeah, that might be the spot, Markel. It might be a Philly first half spot. I feel like I wrote Philly first half down somewhere, but I don't see it in my notes. Philly first half spot would be the look for me, Markel, just in case they do run out of gas. Also, when I'm thinking about the Bulls, I know just through the through following it throughout the season, they're not a good first quarter, first half team. Let's see. The Bulls first half this season are, I'm glad you brought this up, Markel. Just some live capping real quick. The Bulls are 11-20 in the first half. That's actually the 4th worst record in the first half on the season. Philly, 18-13 in the first half. That's actually the 3rd most wins in the first half as well. If I just look last 5 games real quick, Philly is 2-3. Chicago is 2-3. So neither team really that great in the first half over the last couple games. At home, Chicago last 5, 2-3. On the road, Philly last 5, 3-2. So yeah, I think they could. I think first half was probably the play. I like first half in this spot, Markel. I like that a lot. Tasha says everyone always hit the like button entering Chris's room. I like that as well. We got some more love for Drummond. Tasha says Philadelphia struggled with first half last night. More of a reason to like them tonight, Tasha. More of a reason to like them tonight. We saw Boston struggle in the first half 2 games ago against Detroit. They said, "Oh no, we're not struggling in the first half." On a back-to-back, and they actually come out with something last night in the first half. Covered that first quarter and first half last night against Toronto. Let's see. My guy Cam says, "Did I miss your thoughts on the deal? If so, I'll just listen back." Yeah, I talked about it, Cam. I talked about it when I talked about the Knicks game. So you just go back to the Knicks game. Let's see. Eric says, "Hit the like button." Y'all tripping. I appreciate the love, Eric. Definitely hit the like button for me if you guys can. Board, what is that? Bordo XOX says, Bulls is my team, but we do allow the most assists, and same with the corner three as well. So some love right there for some Philadelphia 76ers player props. Maybe look at Oubre or something like that, because they'll need one of those guys that didn't play well to step up and play a little bit better last night. I'm actually not going to be able to carry him like this every single game. All right, let's get through the last two games. So next game up, we got Lakers and we got Timberwolves. This line actually opened at 4 in favor of the home favorite Minnesota Timberwolves. It actually came down to 3.5. I actually ran out earlier. I capped the games early this morning. I ran out just now before I came back to start the show, and I got back thinking I was going to see the line at 3.5, 4, and this actually moved to 5. The total in this one moved up from 224.5 up to 225.5. So Bron and AD, of course, are listed as questionable. I think they both probably play. To me, it kind of sounds like, if you're listening to Darvin Ham, he was asked yesterday by the media, what he thought about the Lakers playing Bron and AD in both of these games. Because for people who don't know, this is the first leg of a back-to-back for the Lakers. They actually got the Timberwolves. They actually got the Pelicans tomorrow. Timberwolves tonight, Pelicans tomorrow. That'll be the first time that they face the Pelicans since they, beat the Pelicans in that revenge in that in-season tournament game where they smoked them, in Vegas. So Lakers are not a good road team. We know this. They're 6-11 on the road, just 7-10 against the spread. I looked at the Lakers on the first leg of back-to-back games. When game 1 is on the road, they're 4-0 to the over. They're 8-3 to the over on the road in conference games this season. It's a spot where their defense really has not looked great at all. We know that Darvin Ham did just make the changes to the lineup, kind of put D'Angelo Russell on the bench to bring in a more defensive-oriented team. They did smack up the Charlotte Hornets, but what they got up in front of them today is nothing like the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know if Minnesota's going to have Karl-Anthony Towns. He was kind of, like that. I think that injury that he's dealing with was kind of lingering in the last game, because Minnesota did kind of play with their food. They didn't cover that. What was it? I think it was like 12.5, 13-point line against the Dallas Mavericks the other day without Luka Doncic. They didn't cover that line. So you get them back at home, home off the home win, and now they're back at home. Minnesota has been the second best home team so far this season at the crib. They're 13-9, straight up, 9-5 against the spread. The Lakers, 10 straight overs on the road, and what that tells me, the defense is not showing up. The defense is absolutely not showing up. I think it's a Timberwolves spot. I agree with the line moving, towards the 5. Now, the Lakers can come out here and play really inspired basketball. We've seen that before. But it takes a lot for this team to do that. And for everybody to kind of be clicking on the same, clicking in the same cylinder. A couple different things I looked at. So the first thing I looked at was, since the start of the 2020 season, I looked at home favorites that are playing their second consecutive game at home. Good home favorites, 55% win teams or better. Home favorites playing their second home game after a previous home game. Their opponent's coming off a win and they're rested. So they're rested. It don't matter what their opponent's doing, but their opponents are off a win. And it's a conference game. And their opponent is actually a good team. They have above 50% win percentage. Before the All-Star break, these teams are 23-11-1 against the spread. That's 67.6% says that you lay the points with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the spot. I do feel like I'm a diehard Laker fan, but I don't know if we go in. The Timberwolves, I think, will be a little bit motivated as well. I was reading through some of Coach Chris Finch quotes, and he was talking about the offense just turning the ball over a lot, not being really crisp with their offense. I do kind of feel like the Timberwolves are going to turn up in this spot. I know that they just beat the Lakers the other day. That was a game that LeBron James didn't play. I want to say it was the second leg of a back-to-back, but the Lakers did cover in that spot. Man, I want to get there with the Timberwolves today. I really, really do. I would have much rather liked it at 3.5, of course. That number's gone, of course. And we'll see what happens throughout the day, because Karl-Anthony Towns hasn't been rolled in. LeBron James and Anthony Davis get rolled in. This line should come back down as well when they're confirmed to play. But this game doesn't start until 8:10. So gave you guys my thoughts on the game. I didn't quite get there with anything, but just kind of letting you guys know what I'm looking at. Let's see what y'all like in the chat. So Avery says the line dropped from 2.5 down to 1. I want to take 6 is so bad. That's very telling. I agree. I would agree, Avery. Avery also says Maxey played 41 some minutes. That's what scares me. Yeah, and I think that's why you get in on Philly early, Avery. I think that they can win this game, man. I really, really do. I don't trust the Bulls without having first of all, I think Philly remembers that they lost to this team. And I don't trust the Bulls without Vucevic. They haven't looked like the greatest version of themselves. I think the win that they got was against Atlanta, and everybody's beating Atlanta right now. David says there's only one thing Bron has yet to do on his birthday. And this answer correlates with getting a win tonight over a tough Minnesota team. That's right. Triple-double alert for the King. So David likes LeBron to get a triple-double tonight. 9T Fox like the Lakers plus 4.5 and LeBron over 26.5 points. Yeah, it's LeBron's birthday today. I forgot to mention that. I did see that earlier. S. says Wolves minus 4.5, AE over his points, LeBron over his threes is what he likes. Avery says first half the play for sure. Appreciate that, Markel. So he likes that first half look as well. B. says let's get this new money, new year. Let's get some money. I'm with you there. He says hit the like button as well. Glow Boy says LeBron's birthday tomorrow. Maybe the Lakers play it slow today and bring it out with a lot of energy tomorrow. I don't know this Lakers team is so unreadable. I would agree. The Lakers are pretty volatile, man. They are. And points. He said in the interview he always try to kill Bron. I could not talk you off of that too, Millie. Anthony Edwards has been balling this year. He's been balling. Zachariah says Bron's birthday. He's playing, take his points and assists and AD points. I'm not sure if Patrick Beverly's going to play today or not. I didn't see him pop up on the injury report. I would think that he's going to be in. Patrick Beverly's somebody that prides himself on playing. He is getting older. I want to say past like 34, 35, but I wouldn't think that Pat's going to sit out in this one. He finished that game last night against Fred VanVleet. He was talking trash to Fred VanVleet too. You can tell there's a lot of mutual respect there. Let's see. Zachariah says Conley is too small. Bron should be able to do what he wants. They shouldn't be putting Bron on him. Putting Conley on Bron, I would hope not. Thoughts on Bron points, rebounds, and assists over 41.5. That's the way it's kind of been, Raptors fan. It's been, big games from Bron, and then everybody else has kind of looked like a shell of themselves. We got to remember, the Lakers just smacked the Charlotte Hornets. But before that Charlotte Hornets game, Christmas Day, Bron came out with the quotes. What did he say? He said, I don't think that, currently constructed, and he was taking a shot at, the role players. He was saying, I don't think currently constructed where we need to be as far as competing with some of the upper echelon teams in the East in the NBA. So to me, that tells me, and I'm watching the games too. Like Bron and AD are having to do everything, and the Cam Reddishes of the world, the Jared Vanderbilts of the world, Rui Hachimura's, the outside of Austin Reeves has been playing pretty well off the bench. Everybody else has been extremely inconsistent. I'm not talking about having one big game and then not having playing well in the next game. I'm talking about if you play well one game, it typically regresses back to the mean in the next one. So those are my thoughts on this game. Let's keep going because I've been on here for almost 48 minutes. Next game up and last game on the board, we got Mavs and we got Warriors. So this spread actually opened at 3.5 in favor of the hometown Golden State Warriors. It's up to 4 now, 4.5 at some places as well. 240.5 was the total when it opened. It's up to 242. So Kyrie he did get upgraded to doubtful. We know that Kyrie hasn't played a game in probably about a month. Luka is also listed as questionable in this game, but the total going up, I think that's indicative that Luka is probably going to play in this spot. Golden State, they should get Gary Payton II back. He was listed as available to play yesterday. Looney's also dealing with an illness in this spot, so not sure if he's going to play. I'll tell you guys this. If Looney doesn't play, you got to be looking at Trace Jackson in this spot. This dude's been absolutely cooking. I want to say he got 3 double-doubles in this last 5 games. So if they put his lines up, he should. And there's like a little rivalry between him and Derek Lively. I know he's going to take that serious as well. Lively's been absolutely balling, especially with Luka in the lineup. I think that's going to be a really good matchup at the center position if Looney doesn't play in this spot. Dallas has been really good on the road. Golden State's been struggling at home. Numbers to that, Dallas 10-7 on the road, 11-6 against the spread on the road. They actually covered that game in Minnesota the other day, even without having Luka. This is the third game in 4 nights, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like Dallas in this spot. Even though they get Luka back, this reminds me a lot of the Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies last night. This is the reason why I told you guys I didn't like the Grizzlies in that spot, even though Ja missed the game the night before against Denver, because it's a third game in 4 nights for Dallas. It's also a 5th game in 7 nights, and it's also a 7th game in 11 days for the same Dallas Mavericks team. They played 7 games since December the 20th. And that's a lot of games. Of course, they're off back-to-back losses, so they got a bad taste in their mouth. They melted that game down against the Cleveland Cavaliers a couple nights ago at home, and then of course they lost to Minnesota 2 nights ago as well on the second leg of that back-to-back without Luka. It's typically a flat spot, man. I couldn't get there with the Mavs on this one. Golden State has not looked like the greatest team either. We just when you thought you could, kind of buy on to this team, they go to Denver. They lose that game even though they cover the spread. They come back home and get smoked by the Miami Heat in that game. Golden State's just 9-7 at home, 5-10-1 against the spread. Back-to-back losses, like I said, to Denver and Miami. And the one thing that is going for Golden State in this spot is that this is their 5th game in 11 days, as opposed to 11 games. As opposed to 7 games in 11 days. So second straight home game for them as well. And I want to say Golden State has a nice little home stand coming up as well with a bunch of games at home. So head-to-head, the last 5 matchups have gone over. That was something that I looked at, but I didn't quite get there with Golden State. I don't want to put my money on Golden State, especially to win by margin. But like I said, I don't like the spot for Dallas being their 7th game in 11 days, 3rd game in 4 nights, and 5th game and 4 game in 6 nights as well. All of those different scenarios don't let me put my money on Dallas in this spot. Also, don't necessarily want to get there with the over either, because I've seen this Dallas team really lock up and play some pretty good defense when they need to. And I think desperation wise, that says that they probably will in this spot as well. Golden State also has been playing a little bit more defense, and their offense has been the thing that's kind of really been not consistent. So I actually think contrarian under in this spot, under 242 is probably in play, but like I said, I didn't get there with that either. Let me see what you guys are seeing in the chat real quick before I get up out of here. Let's see. This is what I said. Cool. He says he's hoping Trace Jackson Davis props will be listed. Looney is dealing with an illness. Also going against a fellow draftee. Yep, and Lively. This is exactly what I said. That was drafted above him, and Dwight Powell isn't scaring anybody. I would absolutely agree there. I think it could be big games for both of those guys, and this might be the game where you play the props in. Luka also, just FYI, Luka is going for Western Conference Player of the Month, and this is his last game to kind of solidify itself. I don't know if y'all paying attention, but Luka averaging like 37 points in the month of December. And it's crazy what he's doing. Triple doubles every night. I think his rebound prop sitting at 9.5. Like Luka's been going crazy. So if he does come back and he's rested, I think it could be a big night for Luka. They have nobody that can guard Luka on that Golden State team. But I will say this: Steve Kerr is a pretty smart coach, so maybe he doubles, and at least it don't look as bad as what Frank Vogel did when he let him drop 50 on him at Christmas Day. At least get the ball out of his hands. Let's see. Nadir says Looney got the active game streak going. He's going to play. Took his unders with a chance that he just keeps just plays to keep the streak going. I think that could be smart. Nadir, I think that could be smart for sure. Dallas plus 142 first half winners could be the line. Okay, I couldn't talk you off if it's something you like in that first half. Warriors have actually been playing a little bit better in the first half recently, but this Warriors team is so up and down, man. I can't get a good read on them, so I'm not gonna put my money on the game. But like I said, it is a Golden State team. Raptors fan says he likes Curry over 28.5. He said he struggled against the Miami Heat defense, and I feel like he could bounce back today. Yeah, I could definitely see Steph having a bounce back game. I could also see Klay having a bounce back game. He also struggled, and Klay's been a little more consistent, I think, than Steph has been. And you get, much more of a discount. I think Klay sitting at 17.5. He should be able to cook up in this spot at the crib. Motivated off the loss. Like I said, both teams off a loss. Not the greatest spot for Denver. For Dallas. So I lean Warriors, but I didn't play anything at all. And those are my thoughts for the slate, man. Real quick, I'll go back through it one more time. Heat and Jazz didn't play this yet, but it's a Heat spot for me early in this game. I like the Heat first quarter and first half in this game. Also, would be looking at Lauri Markkanen props. He's been the guy that's been cooking, but you can wait and see what line you get for if Jimmy Butler is ruled into this game. I also lean under, especially with the total going up to 230.5. Like I said, the Heat are the best defensive team on the road. And Lauri Markkanen, I'll be looking at his points prop. Dude's been over in 4 straight games, over the 23.5 in 4 straight games. And in his last 2 games against Miami, he had 38 and he had 29. So those are my thoughts on the first game. On the second game, let's see. Let's just do. This is how I know where I'm going to be. What I play, I haven't placed the bet yet, but this is what I'm just giving you guys a look, and that's why I'm putting this at the bottom. So first game, it'd be Heat first quarter, it'd be Heat first half, it'd be Lauri Markkanen. I'm not playing any player props, but it'd be Lauri Markkanen over his points, and it would also be the under, the full game under. I do lean towards the under 230.5. You can't wait. See if Jimmy Butler gets ruled in. The total might go up just a tad bit more. Then I'll be playing the under. Raptors and Pistons. Pistons first half, man. Let me see what the best number is right now. Pistons first half will be the play for me here. I still don't trust them full game, but I do think that they start off hot. I do think the Pistons start off hot in this spot. So first half for the Pistons, plus 1.5. You may be able to shop around and get a 2. I think Pistons in the first half is the right side in that game. Would also be looking at Jalen Duren props as well in that game. Next game is Knicks and Pacers. I do think that the Knicks run out of gas in this spot. Like I said, third game in 4 nights, second leg of a back-to-back. You're playing against one of the better offensive teams. You don't have your defensive guys, right? You don't have, even RJ Barrett is a pretty good defender. You don't have him. You don't have Mitchell Robinson in this spot, and the Pacers just been kind of sitting at the crib waiting. So it does seem like a Pacers spot to me. I would also lean contrarian under in this spot as well, thinking that the Knicks, maybe struggle to score in this game, and maybe they just try to slow the game down and not play at the pace of the Pacers. So we'll see how it goes, but those would be my thoughts there. 76ers and Bulls. Markel pointed this out to the chat. 76ers first half, I think, is the best play in this game. First half right now for Philly, you can actually get them plus a point, plus a whole point on DraftKings. So Philly first half, maybe even on the money line, I think is the best play in this game. Like I said, I don't trust Chicago. I think Philly got the revenge on their mind. I'm probably going to end up playing Philly in the first half. In that game, Lakers and Timberwolves, I lean Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves can absolutely come in here, clean the Lakers up. The Lakers could come into Minnesota and lose this game. Maybe the Lakers use all their energy tonight, and then you fade them tomorrow because they should. The Pelicans should be fired up for tomorrow's game, but I'm not sure how that's going to go. We'll see how it goes based on how tonight goes. But if the Lakers come out here, exert all their energy against the Timberwolves and win this game, you definitely know to take the Pelicans tomorrow. You gotta fade this Lakers team against the Pelicans, especially in the revenge spot that they're gonna be in. It's got to be a Pelican spot tomorrow. And then Dallas and Golden State, like I said, I kind of lean Golden State, but definitely don't. I don't want them, by margin. 4.5 is needing them to win by 2 possessions. I'm not sure if Luka's going to be up for that. And plus, Luka hasn't officially been ruled in yet either. So those are the top looks for me, man. I appreciate everybody for joining. Let's get a couple speakers up real quick before we get out of here. Let's get Black Thor up real quick. I haven't heard from my guy in a minute. See what he's talking about. Black Thor, what's going on, my brother? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. A lot of crazy stuff going in the NBA. Still trying to find some value.
Yeah, nah, for sure. You had a top look today. What would your best bet be?
Yes, sir, man. I got my man Tyler Hero. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull it up. Tyler Hero rebounds over 4.5. So he has hit this number in his last 2 matchups versus Utah. He had 6 and 9. His last 5 matchups, 80% clip. That is 7, 6, 7, and 8. And out of his last 10, 7 out of his last 10. I could be mad at the points and rebounds, but I love that one. I did hear you talk about the Lakers and Timberwolves. If my man does that game, whenever those props go up, I'm going right back to Mike Conley, the Laker killer himself, man. Hopefully they put his threes up, but if they ever put it up, I'm going to take his threes. A couple leans. Buddy Hield's threes was something I did like. He's shooting a ton of volume, but over 11 attempts a game at 3.5. It's in bed. And Jonathan Kuminga is also a lean at his points and rebounds, man. But that's it for me, man.
Okay. No way I could talk you off of that, Black Dog. Best of luck, bro. Like you said, I know I'm doing the show early, and there's gonna be a lot more lines available as well. But we just kind of cooking up what we got right now. So I'm not big on player props, but I like doing the show so everybody else can kind of hear the idea of player props as well.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, bro. Right back at you as well. Let's see. No, he did get traded. He definitely got traded. I'm going through the comment section real quick. Go Young DJ says he liked Lloyd Marketing and Jaime Jaquez Jr. over in a parlay today. Shadow says Luka rebounds and assists, maybe. I can see him getting a triple-double today. He could get a triple-double in a pace-up spot for sure, Shadow, because we know Golden State's been playing a little fast lately. So I would agree there. Daniel says Heat have hit their team total in their non-highest totals games between 224 and 238. I can see that as well. Esdot says he could take in the alt line -5 for him at +135 on the Heat today. We'll see how it goes, Esdot. Esdot always stick around, man. So if it don't go well, we'll see how it goes. I know Esdot gonna come back around even if his Heat don't show up today. All right, so let's go. You have anything else, Black Door?
No, that was it. Shoot. No, that was it for me.
Okay. Let's go Godspeed, and then I'll get Keith up as well. Talk about I know he probably got something on his Heat as well. What's up, Godspeed? Talk to the people, man. How you doing?
What's up, Chris? How you doing? I'm doing good.
I'm good too, bro. I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. What's going on?
Man, just a quick little recap of yesterday, man. Bogey shot the ball fucking terrible yesterday, bro. He shot 2 for 12. My bad, y'all, man. The read was there. I mean, the volume was there. He had no shots yesterday. So, you know what that means. When you get an advantageous matchup next game, he'll probably get there. But a couple looks that I got today. I'm on John Collins, bro. John Collins. We know this Utah team played better than what they are when they're at home in Utah. John Collins, his points line is 10.5. I got it at -130 on ESPN bet. He's hit this in 12 out of 12 home games, and at home he's averaging 15 points. He covered that line in 3 out of the 5 games versus Miami last season. In those games, he averaged 13.4 points. In his career versus Miami, he's actually covered it in 16 out of 20 matchups. And versus Bam Adebayo, he's covered this in 12 out of the last 13. And he allowed 11 most points to the power forward position. So I'm hoping John Collins can come get us some cash. And I'm also with Black Door and Kuminga. I took it straight at 12.5 points on ESPN bet -120 or -125. Kuminga, he gets an advantageous matchup versus Dallas, who's been getting cooked by power forwards and centers all season long. He covered the 12.5 points line in 3 out of 3 games versus Dallas last season with 22 points, 14 and 13, I believe. It's just crazy because he's getting more minutes this season. Last season, he was coming off the bench and he was fighting for time with Draymond, what's his name? I think his name was Anthony Lamb, and Wiggins. But now, he's a starting power forward as of now because Draymond is an idiot. But I like Kuminga tonight at home. You know, the Dubs usually try to turn up at home. And I think he gets us to that 12.5 points mark. But those my 2 looks for the day that I got. I'm gonna be dropping I think it's a big man day. Pause. I like a lot of bigs, power forwards and centers today. I'm gonna drop a lay. I got a collab coming out. It's around +4,000. It do include Kuminga and John Collins. I took John Collins, Kuminga, Drummond. He's getting he's going back. He's facing Philly. We know he played for Philly. Didn't get much time over there, but revenge game there. And then Jalen Durant, he gets an advantageous matchup versus Toronto, who just got killed by Luke Cornett. So I took all those guys for 15 points. There's is around like plus 4,000. But yeah, that's what I got today, Chris.
Okay, now it make a lot of sense. It make a lot of sense. I hadn't thought about like parlaying the bigs, but that make a lot of sense, guys. Best of luck, bro. I hope you cash today. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Let's go, Keith. Keith, talk to me, bro. What's going on?
Chris, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. It's a great slate today. Trying to get on a heat prop. Tyler Hero of 25 points at plus money. I got it at plus 105. I know the number's slowly creeping up. It's most likely that Jimmy Butler isn't going to play, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does play with just limited minutes. We have a tough month ahead of us. We see the Clippers, then the Lakers, and the Suns back home against the Rockets, and then 2 division games. Hornets, Magic, and then we play the Nets, who beat us twice. So we got a tough first half of January, so I can definitely see Butler getting some run just to ramp up. But Hero's been pretty successful, particularly against Chris Dunn, too. I was watching some old film. He was pretty successful against one of their better defenders. But I couldn't talk people off of Lawyer Marketing. I actually played his PR line at 32.5. And I also locked in his 10 rebounds at plus 135. Just a spot because I think that Jazz have their team structure it kind of contradicts what Miami's really good at. You know, we don't really play a lot of 6'8", 6'9" forwards. And Marketing plays a small forward at his size. We don't really have someone to compete with that. It's either Bam guards him for the whole time and Olenek and Kessler feast in the paint, or do we keep Bam down low and Marketing gets his? So I took Marketing over his 32.5 PR. Another line that I was looking at was I'm trying to decide if I want to lock in either Buddy Hield over 3.5 threes at plus money or Aaron Nesmith, and I think I want to go with Aaron Nesmith at 1.5. In the games without RJ Barrett, the small forward has knocked down the three at a great rate. Chris Middleton went 2-3, even though he only played 20 minutes. Jay Crowder, him coming off the bench and knocking down like 4 threes against the Knicks. And another matchup against the Hawks, Jalen Johnson at 144. Geez, I had it all pulled up here. I think Donovan Mitchell went like 6 of 15. So the signs are showing, the box scores are literally showing me that they're giving up the volumes. Nesmith is shooting 57% from 3. I think in his last 5, he's shooting over 40 at home this season. So I like the look. I think in the first game off of back-to-back, with all this trade news, I think the Knicks are kind of going to be scrambling on defense a little bit. It's going to probably take about a good week or so to get that back. And we know they don't really guard the 3 all that well anyway. So, yeah, I'm probably going to get there with Aaron Nesmith on his over 1.5 and his 3 threes. I think I saw a line at plus 170, but I want to shop around, see if I find a better look.
Okay. I love that breakdown, Keith, because as you say that, it kind of just makes sense. I'm listening to you talk about traditional your traditional way of playing and Lloyd Marketing just being a challenge for Spoelstra and y'all defense, and it makes sense. Like I said, I think he had 28 and 39 points in the last 2 matchups against y'all. So sometimes I think what Spoelstra does is try to cut the head off the snake. He reminded me a lot of like Bill Belichick in the NFL with the Patriots. Like he tried to cut the head off the snake, and that's what he did in the last game. He was like, let's take Steph away, let's take Clay away, and make everybody else beat him. And nobody could, right? A lot of people like CP3, a lot of people like Kuminga in that spot, and that kind of came out short. But if Spoelstra is going to do the opposite, where he says, all right, we it's going to be hard to limit Lloyd Marketing, but let's cut the water off for everybody else. It could be a big game for Lloyd Marketing, but the Heat still win. So what's your take on the game, Keith? You think y'all win the game, or you think what are you thinking about the spread?
I actually think that expose us in the fourth quarter exactly how they did to the Raptors the other night.
Okay.
Because if you just look at the fourth quarter, the last one has been pathetic. And I couldn't talk anyone off for playing like FanDuel's largest comeback of like 10 plus points in it for them to win. But I think there's going to be a lot of threes too, because you don't want to leave Marketing no money for down low just to get all the rebounds. We're not a one and done offense. We need those offensive rebounds. That being said, I can see us shooting a lot of threes, so I can't talk people off of Tyler Hero's rebounds or even even Jaime, even though he wasn't. Who's Duncan Robinson's one of those guys that understands that we're missing some guys that we need you to step up to. Just grab a couple offensive rebounds, right place, right time. But I actually like John Collins. Gosby was talking about it. I like him. And I took Podemski last game over his 1.5 threes. And the reason why I took it is because we, just like you said, our team is kind of exposed like Belichick. We're going to leave certain guys open. And John Collins' game log doesn't really support him knocking down threes. But if he's going over his points props and he's game planned against us, given that he's played for the Hawks for several years, he's game planned against us several times, he's going to know where the shots come from. And I love tackling angles like that. And knowing Miami's going to leave particular guys open, I couldn't talk anyone off of playing John Collins today. I think his threes at 1.5 good volume. But even just taking his 1-3 as a parlay piece and then combining like Clarkson to go for 2 because he's going to have the volume and marking it at like 6 boards to get like a plus money ticket. So yeah, those are actually all my leads for that game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jazz maybe come back on us and even potentially cover that spread.
Yeah. Okay. No, it makes a lot of sense. Keep and I'm right there with you. Like I said, I'm probably gonna get there. I don't know if I want to play a unit on both because I typically don't go too crazy on the first quarter in the first half. More on the first half than I do on the first quarter. But I really like y'all early, Keith. I really, really do. I think it's a flat spot for Utah, even though they do have a full team. But it really wouldn't surprise me if they were able to come back and win the game late. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So right there with you. And I, would definitely agree. I think y'all build a nice lead. Honestly, at this point, like I said, it don't matter who Miami got. Like, they could, literally sign a couple players out the show right now. And for some reason, it's supposed to the coach, they're gonna go in and do what they're supposed to do. And that's what we've been seeing. So if you join late, I kind of gave the numbers. You can go back and listen to them if you want to. But Miami Heat are the second best ATS first half team on the road, and the second best first quarter ATS team on the road as well. So I like that, and appreciate the looks, Keith. I hope you cash tonight as well, my brother.
No, thank you. Also, I just want to mention this was your podcast, your space was like the first platform that I started giving out my picks, and I definitely came a long way from betting on Al Horford's assist. They're like an NBA Finals game.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to say I appreciate you, bro. Like, I just hit 700 followers today. Like, it's new year, hoping to continue my methods because I'm getting better. A lot sharper with my bets since I first started this.
My God, that's what we do it for, Keith. I appreciate that, bro. I'm glad I can inspire because it's people along the way that inspire me as well, man. It's always all love for sure. And the new year right around the corner, Keith. So continued growth and success to you, my brother. Sending you all the blessings and positive energy your way, man. Keep grinding. I get those DMs all the time, like, yo, Chris, how can I do what you're doing, or you inspire me to do this, or whatever the case might be. So, like I always say, man, it's all love. We always, I do this show to try to share insight and give other people, at the same time, give other people a platform to be able to, bring their stuff to the forefront as well, and be able to showcase their talents also. So, blessings to you, Keith. Same thing to Black Door. Same thing to all the people that come on the show, man. It's always all love. Let's go to Sean. Sean, what's going on, my brother? Talk to me. How you?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What you liking for today?
Sounds like a lot of what everybody else says, to be honest.
Okay. What would be a top play that you heard somebody else? Oh, well, your top play overall.
Laurie Marketing was the top play.
Okay.
His points to 30. I can't get 35 on my book, but I think he possibly gets the 35 today. Also, like his rebounds. He's been getting boards lately, and he's been pulling them down even with Kessler in the game. Then I think a double-double might be a good look as well, plus money on that.
Okay.
Couple looks from the Pacers game I got. I know you don't like player props. I don't usually take sides or spreads.
No. Hold on, Sean. I don't dislike player props. They just never cash for me. So I don't play them that often. I love capping them and I like playing them too. But when I don't see no return, I'd be a little frustrated. I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, I do. You can come on here, always share your player props. But what you like?
Oh, I'm a complete opposite because the spreads and the totals don't usually. So today, though, I'm on the Pacers team total over 1.5 against the Knicks without their defense.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense.
It's been a catch way all season. Really the only play I'll play on team total, really. And then I like Jalen Smith today for 15 plus points. I think you can take his points. I think he bodies Hartenstein.
Jalen Smith does?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pacers team total over and Jalen Smith today. Okay.
Yeah, those are my favorite looks, and I'm also gonna. I don't think we can really deny the fact that RJ Barrett and IQ are going to show out today since it's them announcing the trade. So I could see those two going off. At least one of the two. I haven't made up my mind on who I'm going to take.
Hold on, who? Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett?
Yep.
They don't get to play. They done, Sean.
Oh,
yeah, they don't get to play, bro. Once you trade it, you can't play a game. Man, it's all kind of liabilities that be messed up. Yeah.
Definitely take the Pacers team. That's a must.
Okay. Just some support that I was looking at just real quick. I try to make these shows short, but I also try to make them super informative, man. I just love being able to kind of share information with people. So looking at what Sean just said, you can look into these things if you know the SDQL language. So right here, what I got pulled up on the screen for the people that's still watching, Pacers this year, when they're playing a team that's unrested, they're 3-2 straight up, 3-2 against the spread, 4-1 to the over. So they're hitting at 81%. Those totals were a little bit lower at 236 is the average, but they've gone over. Well, they actually went under against the Trailblazers, but they're averaging 128 in this spot. It was a 152-point outlier with the Spurs when they were on the second leg of a back-to-back, but the Pacers have scored 125, 152, 126, 131, and 110 when they are facing an unrested opponent so far this season. So I just wanted to kind of shed some light to that. Also, you can look at it from the opposite side as well. So what's here is the Knicks, when they are unrested, the Knicks are giving up, it looks like about 110 points per game. Of course, a lot of these have Mitchell Robinson in though. Outside of this Clippers game, the last time the Clippers were unrested, I think this is the only one without Mitchell Robinson. They gave up 144 points to the Clippers. So that Pacers team total does sound like probably a pretty good look in this one, Sean. Best of luck to you, my brother. I hope you cash it.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Keith, did your hand go back up? I feel like I saw your hand go back up.
Yeah, I was going to answer his question, even though he didn't give it out. Randall in isolation, the number is going to spike up. I think he has like 12% of his scoring comes from isolation. And I know Jalen Smith has been catching his threes and his points, but I think Randall's going to see a huge spike today in his points. All season long, I've been watching the Pacers get fried by players in between 6'7" and 6'9".
Yeah.
For some reason, they just always cash their points in threes. So I couldn't talk anyone off Randall. I'm just not on that off because of trade moves.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense for sure. All right, so just real quick, kind of going back through and solidifying what I'm gonna play and what I'm gonna send out. Miami Heat, first quarter, first half. I think I'm gonna take the unit and split it. I'm gonna wait though. I am gonna wait for the Jimmy news because I could get a better number. I don't care if Jimmy plays or he doesn't play, honestly. But if I can get a better number, I'll probably get there. Right now, the best number is laying a half a point. So you just need Miami to have a 1 point lead at the end of the first quarter and first half. So those are the numbers that I'm looking at. Detroit, first half plus 1.5. Scariest play I probably have made all season. Haven't put this one in yet, but it makes a lot of sense. The number's already down from 2.5 as well. So that's what I'm liking in those games. I kind of talked about this already, but I hadn't solidified my card yet. Let's see. Going back to, let's just add the Philly game in real quick. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm on the Eyes Jam screen looking at the best numbers right here. Best odds for all these plays that I like. And this was Philly first half in this game against the Bulls. Philly first half plus the 1, I think is the best number. I think it's the look right here. Minus 115 on DK looks like it's the best number I can get. Or you could just take them on the money line if you didn't want to lay the juice. But all of those numbers are 1, and there's actually some 0.5s out there as well. So this number is cratering for Chicago, and the books have it kind of slightly shaded towards Philly in the first half, understanding that they're on the second leg of the back-to-back. Lakers and Timberwolves, not going to play this one yet, but I do think it's a Timberwolves spot. Probably going to stay off the game overall, but I do think it's a Timberwolves spot. And then Dallas and Golden State, I also think that that's a Golden State spot, but I'm definitely not laying the points there. So maybe a point, a prop or something later. But that's how I'm kind of looking at all these games today, man. I'm staying off the Knicks in the Pacers game, like you said, Keith, but I do kind of lean towards the Pacers, with the Knicks kind of running out of gas, second leg of a back-to-back, and now they don't have their guys. I'll probably just play the spread, get a 4.5. Knicks should run out of gas in this spot, especially being shorthanded. Third game in 4 nights, second leg of a back-to-back. And the Knicks have been traveling all over the place outside of those 2 games that they had at home during the Christmas break against the Bucks. So the Pacers are they're home rest, they're the home favorite, more rested, and they didn't make any trades today, so they're gonna have full squad. And losing, just think about it like this too. The spread was at 3.5. You lose quickly, and you lose RJ Barrett, and the spreads only move 1 point. I think both of those guys together equals more than 1 point. So it does feel like a Pacers spot here. But maybe you take it at halftime if you get a better number than the 4.5 and the 5 right now. So those are my thoughts on the card, man. If you're watching the show, do me one favor and hit the like button for me. I'm on here for 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's the only thing that I ask. If you want my plays when I play them, you can join as a member. The membership is $5.99 a month. $5.99 a month for anybody who wants my plays. But I'm still gonna always do the show for free, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me as always. Let me just go back through these comments real quick. Let's see. Raptors fan says he likes Duren double-double, Julius Randle double-double, Drummond double-double, and Chicago money line at plus 545 odds. I don't know about that money line for the Bulls, but I like those double-doubles. Duren, Julius Randle, and Drummond all to get a double-double. I like that a lot. I'm going to write that down. Duren, Julius Randle. And this is what Godspeed was talking about as well. And Drummond. All of those guys to get a double-double, I could definitely see that. You could add AD in there as well. Laurie only gone over 23.5 in 2 out of 9 games at home this season, SK says. So a little pushback on Laurie. David says Pistons and Lions money line. Eminem on the radio. Happy New Year's. David, you must be in Detroit. Let's see how you feel about Miami team total. I think so. Go DJ. We talk about Miami being a pretty good first half team, and I actually looked into this as well. Their first half team total, if you go through and look at it, Miami averages a lot more points in the first half than they do in the full game. Real quick, I'm gonna just bring this up and show it to you real quick because I was looking at this earlier when I was capping the game before I started the show. So I just I like addressing these questions. Y'all got more questions? Maybe we'll do a whole Q&A session one day if I get enough time. All right, so look at this. So look at the Heat, right? Look at the Heat so far this season. This team is, and you could, it's big enough. Pause. It's big. The numbers are big enough for you to see on the screen. They're averaging 59 points in the first half of the game. In the second half, that number drops to 54. So 59 in the first half, 54 in the second half for the Heat. Then you look at them on the road. They're averaging 56 in the first half. They're averaging 52 in the second half. So this is where you have to really go in and look at your numbers. I don't like the Heat full game team total. You see they're only averaging 110, but they're only giving up 106. Now you get inflated numbers because the Jazz don't play that much defense. And I think the Heat team total was 115.5, and the Jazz team total was 113.5. The Heat haven't given up 114 points on the road outside of this Hornets game, which, that was a super buy low spot, but they haven't given up 115 points on the road but one time in 16 games so far this season. And the only time they did it was against the Bucks. So this is how I like to kind of, look at the games. I think that, like I said, I think the full game goes under, and it's primarily because the Heat defense is really, really good on the road. We saw what they did against the Warriors. They gave up 102. If you can do that to the Warriors, I think you could do it to the Jazz too. But those are just my thoughts. I'm glad you asked though, so I was able to kind of go in and, people were able to look at that. Lock and Loaded Sportscast says he likes the Pistons in the first half in full game. Pacers -4.5. And the Cowboys -5.5. Best of luck to y'all, boys. Live to cap another day. Absolutely. Go Young DJ says add Bam double-double instead of AD. And VC says he's appreciate the show as well. So yeah, that's the show, man. Best of luck to anybody, to everybody that's placing bets today. Like I said, if you're watching later, definitely hit the like button for me if you can. Probably not doing a show tomorrow, but enjoy the rest of the day, man. Happy New Year's to everybody. Y'all be safe. And we'll be back again on Monday. I'm out.